The Big Four agenda, to introduce you to it, are initiatives that were proposed by the president to help Kenyans to have a sustainable living. Now, these projects are meant to benefit Kenyans, but more so it targets the youth. And there are so many various opportunities in those Big Four agendas that have been proposed that could really help the youth, to help themselves. And the various opportunities that have been put forward comes across in terms of agenda number 1, which is in the manufacturing sector, number 2, healthcare, number 3, in food security and agriculture, and number 4, in housing. Now, all those projects have opportunities that could really, really help the youth to elevate themselves.
That's quite interesting. Let me get from you.
Yes, just the way my colleague has said, the Big Four agenda comes in timely when issues to do with food, issues to do with good healthcare service, and the challenges of unemployment, which is supposed to be addressed through manufacturing so that we create industries. So I think we're here to encourage the youth, because majority of the youth, they could be aware of the Big Four agenda, but when you ask, like I was sharing with my colleague, if you meet with a youth on the street and ask that youth, what of the Big Four agenda, do you know any Big Four project around you? Most likely you'll find that they are not in position to tell. Wow. So we are here so that we can cascade the Big Four agenda, the projects within the Big Four agenda to the community level.
Powerful word there. Engage with us on our social media platforms at KBC Television, at Jane Wambui, and at Rab Aguko. That is just a glimpse of what we are having this morning. What questions do you have? What comments do you have? Talk to us. Jane.
Now, the Big Four agenda is meant, when you talk about the youth, unemployment is the first thing that comes to mind, because it's the one thing that the youth complain about the most. And it doesn't just affect the youth. When you look at the Kenyan population, 40% of our population is unemployed in the working category. Why is it still so? Yet there are jobs available, but the information seems to be the problem. The flow of information seems to be the problem. Is it information from the side of the employers or from the side of the unemployed?
And at the same time, the numbers of unemployment keep on increasing. Yes.
You could take on that one.
Yeah, sure, yeah. When you look at those rates, which are very alarming, at 40% Kenyans unemployed, and of that 40%, 70% make up the youth.
The youth alone.
Alone, exactly, yes. That's quite a huge number.
Yes.
And this is a country that drives on the youth. The opportunities are there in different sectors, different areas, but then we have had various challenges. And looking at it, that is an area that has so many factors to look at. Say, for example, when we are in school, our colleges and universities, sometimes one of the media that could really help the youth to access these opportunities is through organizing forums for them to network with the industries. Now, these are things that we lack in our institutions of higher learning, so that at the end, when we graduate, we find ourselves stuck. We do not know where to begin, or where to go, or or a medium or a channel where to access what we ought to practice. So one of the challenges is that access to network opportunities, to the correct industries that could direct these youths to get those employment opportunities. Yeah.
Now, when we look at our education system here in Kenya, you find just the other day, around mid this year, we did see CS for Education, Amina Mohamed, direct all universities and colleges to establish a career service office in all institutions of higher learning, just to help students just better bridge when it comes to academia and the industry in itself. The way our education system is set up, is it equipping our youth with the right tools that they need, or is it just too much of the theory? Do we need to adjust to bring in more of the, the actual industry setup to help them better transition when they get out? Richard.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very good question there. When it comes to linking the academia with the industry, I think, first of all, let me appreciate what the government has done by establishing a whole department. This department, the one that is led by PS Kevit Desai, is a TVET department. And I'm aware of a program that Kevit, before he joined the mainstream government, designed. That program is called LIWA, the linkage of academia, linkage of industry with academia. LIWA.
Right.
Yes. So this is supposed to spur the continuous engagement of the industries, the local industries, and the available technical institutions. These are the TVETs, and also universities, so that what is learned in class reflects what is out there, what is in the industry. So if we are able also to align the Big Four, what is in the Big Four, so that we align the Big Four agenda and what is taught in colleges, in universities, it will be very easy to fast track implementation. It will be easy to see quite a number of startups. These are business startups, because from the learning institutions, students will come out knowing what is available, which opportunities are available in the health sector, and so on.
And of course, properly equipped.
Yes.
And
Just to add to that?
Yeah, just to add to what Richard is saying, our economy is, we are glad that the government has identified a gap, that we have a vision of where we want to see our economy, or where we want to see our population or our government generally. And so coming up with the 4 agendas, putting up training institutions, encouraging our youth to attend those colleges to be taught technical skills, so that in the Vision 2030, finally, when we say we are now driving the economy, or we are now where we want to be, we actually have the labor to drive that economy. Because it would be interesting to reach, to reach 2030 and not have the right people equipped with the skills and competencies to drive that economy.
Takes us back to ground zero.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, within the manufacturing industry, there has been so many challenges there, and there is a survey that was done in 2018 from the Economic Survey 2018. It showed a growth of around 0.2% in the year 2018. That is very, very dismal, that kind of a growth. How can youths manage to get into the manufacturing industry now that the Big Four agenda has the manufacturing industry within it, and get the opportunities there and grow the economy?
Okay, thank you so much. Industrialization has been quite a challenge. It almost stagnating in our country. And the reason is most likely basically on the ease of doing business in Kenya, because for you to open up a business, you need to meet some criteria. Although we have the Huduma centers available for people to register, but you find that to start up a business, it's not only by registering a business, but one is supposed to be accessible to the capital, and it has been a challenge, because for you to get some funding from the bank, you need to have some collateral. You find that the youth don't have collateral.
Have that,
yeah. But through access to government procurement opportunities, which came out strongly from the year 2013, when President directed that 30% of all procurement in the public should be given to youth, women, and persons with disabilities. But we've still had some challenge, because the big fish are the one who are still using the youth. They register the youth, and they run business behind the scenes. So what they do is to give some tokens to the youth, but they enjoy the benefits. But we come out now strongly in such forums to encourage students, not students per se, youth, to come out strongly and use that opportunity, access to government procurement opportunity, for them to be able to come up with startups. Then we're also suggesting that if we're having some funding through like funding for the youth, funding for persons with disabilities or women, we find that the engagement of the stakeholders is also not lacking. Much is being handled at the policy level and is not going down to the youth down there. So we should have advocacy programs for youth, and especially opportunities brought by the Big Four at the right from the basic level to the college level, where now teams from the ministries, relevant ministries, through institutions such as ICDC. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of ICDC. This is the Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation, which is supposed to support upcoming industries. They are supposed to engage with the colleges. They are supposed to go down there even to the barazas at the local level, so that they can be able to interact with the youth and fund the programs. If it is coming up sewing ropes, if it is having a small industries, tailorings that now, you know, something coming up like a tailoring shop, to an industry that is making clothes or has a fashion line or something like that. Those are in line with the manufacturing that we are talking about.
Now, you've said quite some point there. I see you have something to add there.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, Kenya is an interesting country. Different sections divided, giving out variations by weather, that is the climatic conditions, and, you know, diversifications of so many people, so that you find sections of Kenya have been mapped up, so that you find in Central, for example, which is a good region in producing goods, specifically potatoes, have been funded, and the youth have had an opportunity in that, so that they have been funded to produce agricultural products, and putting up a manufacturing plant for them, so that they can go ahead and plant, and that's an opportunity for them. Areas like the Maasai, not Maasai, but Kajiado, for example, and Samburu and Asol areas that practice livestock rearing, they have put up manufacturing plants to process leather products, and you know, we're looking forward to Kenya making up to more than 200,000 shoes. And all that are opportunities for the youth to get into the manufacturing sector and give some, get themselves to be employed by those sectors. Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts concerning the project management bill?
Thank you so much. Now, the project management bill is something that is coming out strongly, and the Project Experts Association, through its membership, who are graduated officers who have done at least the first degree in project planning and management, we're coming up with a legislative kind of framework where we want all projects in the country to be managed by a qualified project manager. Yes, we don't want to have issues of project costs overruns, project time overruns, issues to do with the delayed projects. And we want people to be accounted for, and the people who are supposed to be accounted for projects, it could be major projects, it could be medium projects, are project managers, where we want, beside the engineers, these architectural engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, we have qualified project managers who can answer questions, who can communicate to the public whenever there is a delayed project. Because the profession requires a kind of a legal framework to accept, for the country to accept project management as a key profession, to ensure that we don't have issues to do with conflicts whenever we have projects, where complaints are shifted, like we have a project. For example, currently we just had this major issue at Kenya Pipeline Company, where the project in Kisumu, some money was maybe misused or something like that. That is a project management issue. And if we could have a specific project manager who is answerable, who is able to answer those questions, why did we have cost overruns? Why have we had delays? You remember we just had a major project. This is the wind power project. Who is the project manager? Who can answer the questions that wananchi want to hear? Why we've had a serious delay in commissioning that project? Why we've spent more than we had initially budgeted for? That is the reason why we have a PIC, Project Expert Association of Kenya, so that we have a code of standard, some kind of ethics and professionalism when it comes to managing projects in our country. And the bill is at a level where we now are trying to reach out to members of parliament so that they can pass it, so that even the common CDF project at that level, we can have someone responsible for the number of maybe schools that have been done in a constituency.
Interesting.
Through a centralized kind of system where you and I can log in and see what is happening in the village. With a click of the button, I can know my ward. Like my ward is Bunyala Central Ward, Navaholo constituency, Kakamega County.
So representing.
Yes, when I click on Bunyala Central Ward, I need to know what the governor has done there, how many schools have been built, and at what cost, and who did it.
Accountability.
Yes, so that if the person did a good job with the communication of the project manager, we can be able now to sustain that person, to get more contracts, because he's doing it within the etiquette, within the standard of project planning and management. Yes, yes.
Now, we do hope that it actually goes through and, you know, what happened to the gender bill doesn't happen again with this one.
Yes, yes.
You know?
And we have a rider, and the rider is everyone wants to show what they've done out there.
Yes.
The president wants to also leave a legacy to demonstrate that why within my tenure, this number of projects were actually done and they are sustainable.
And completed.
And they are sustainable.
Yeah.
The member of parliament, the governor, want also to demonstrate that within my county government, I've been able to come up with this number of projects, and people can see them. Out of this project, these ones are being sustainable. And by sector, in the health, I've done this number of hospitals, I've bought these machineries and so on. When it comes to agriculture, I've come up with these irrigations, I come up with this number of fish bonds and so on. Tangible projects. And any person, anywhere around the world can be able to access and actually see those projects and the value.
And
of
backtrack
the
them, you know, back and forth.
Yes.
Now, as you have rightly put it, there's so many opportunities that are there for the youth, but the access for them seems to be a bit not clear. The policies that we have in place, are they enabling for the youth to be able to, you know, get to these opportunities and actually benefit from them? Or we need to revisit our policies and see how, you know, if this seat is meant for our youth, if this money is meant for the youthful category, that it should rightfully go to them and not to somebody who, you know, isn't a youth, but is deemed worthy of that.
Yeah. Again, it rightly puts again, it puts it back to our association that we are running, project management, where all resources are accounted for. Be it money, be it finished projects, are they benefiting the communities? So if we have had resources, for example, set aside for the youth, can we have proper structures instituted,
put in place,
exactly, that are accountable, so that if we have had wastage of resources at any one point, there has to be someone who is
answerable to it.
Exactly, who is there to be answerable to that. And it takes me back again to where our youth are. Do we have enough information, or is enough information out there for us to ensure that our rights, to ensure that we are informed of our rights? When you meet, when you interact with the youth out there, and you ask them about this, for example, this kind of resources that the government has disbursed to them, they do not know.
At all.
They do not know at all. What is AGPO? They have no idea.
And we should talk about that, by the way.
Yes. So the information is out there at the touch of a button, at the touch of your phone. You have the information at Huduma Center. The ICT has really made it easy for all, for all those things that you need for it to be available. So it's up to us. It points back again to us, the youth. Can we be on our toes and find out what is rightfully for us, and begin to ask the hard questions? If this was rightfully for us, then what happened that it did not get to us, and who is it that did what happened? So let us be on our toes and find out what is for us. If it's not there, let's question it. And the information is out there, but it's up to us to go and find out,
to access it and look for it.
Yes. Yeah.
But then how then do you unify all these projects within the Big Four agenda?
So this comes about in project management. That is what a project manager does. A project manager who is well equipped ensures that from the first stage of project management, which is initiation, when you initiate for a project and you plan for it properly using the proper planning management tools, and you implement up to the stage where you can actually see something. If it is a road, if it is a hospital,
shape.
Exactly, you can see it coming up by utilizing the resources. And then finally you finish the project and we actually see it working. The hospital is now giving out healthcare services, or the road is being utilized to open up market areas. So the project manager is there to make sure that all these stages are adhered to until the project is delivered to the community and it is sustainable. Yes. And when we measure it, because there is monitoring and evaluation again that goes back and forth. When we measure the results of the project, then we are able to be accountable to the government and say, as a project manager, I have done my part to plan for this project up to the end, and I have delivered a sustainable working project with this money, with this time, and with this kind of quality, Yeah.
Yes, and also maybe just to pick up from there, a very good question on how you can be able to align these Big Four agenda projects. We can catch up from this. We remember we had the agricultural extension officers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the agricultural extension officers are supposed to be down there. They are the ones who interact with Mwananchi. Then they feed the information to maybe the district agricultural officer, then to the county agricultural officer. So right from the agricultural extension officer, that's where we are supposed to have projects aligned to the youth. And these are agricultural projects, where now the agricultural extension officer is funded to come up with now the seed money for the youth, to be able now to maybe to do some sustainable farming or something like that, to do some poultry, some livestock and something like that, through that level. Then we have these guys that we used to call Borafia. I don't know if you remember them.
Okay.
Borafia.
Borafia.
Borafia. Sio afya bora. Borafia.
Borafia.
Afya bora, Borafia.
Oh, okay, I get
Now
you.
we used to have those guys. Those guys were like they are public health officers. Those are the officers also at the level where they interact with the community. They interact with households. And whenever there is an outbreak, they are the first people to get the information, to share with the government. Then they are given direction by the superiors to implement the mitigation. So these are the same people that the government is supposed to engage with, so that they can interact with the community. And now we are focusing to the youth. They can come up with programs, sustainable programs. If it is coming up with maybe some new fruits or something like that, because when we come to issues of health, you remember, it's not about the injection alone or a medication. It's also through health eating, isn't it? Yes. They come up with programs at that level. And they are able now to quantify that within a certain quarter, or biannually, they are able to measure to see how many projects on agriculture or health have been able to be funded and are done. Then in government, we have something that is called performance contracting. Yes, we really encourage that the government, if they can create the indicators aligned to the Big Four agenda, so that ministries, MDS, ministries, departments, and agencies can report. Each ministry, if it's the Ministry of Agriculture, then it has an indicator on the Big Four that can be able to report on how many youth, how many projects are aligned to the agriculture as a Big Four indicator have been able to be have been created and are actually working. Same to other sectors. Then after that, we have, of course, we have also NGOs, NGOs, non-government organizations who are doing a lot of work. It could be on health, it could be on agriculture, it could be on the other food security. So we should also be able to systematically be able to get the information on how many projects aligned to the Big Four are being implemented by the non-government organizations. And we have dynamics on how to engage with the youth and also how to report on what has been done by the youth.
So far.
Yes.
Now, let's just now switch to a bit some of the challenges that are, facing the Big Four agenda and targeting the youth specifically.
Yes.
You find that sustainability is a key part of the Big Four agenda. Whatever project that is proposed, it needs to be sustainable for the long run. We're looking at the 2030 agenda. Now, you find when it comes to youth, they tend to confuse tenderpreneurship and entrepreneurship. They prefer to get tenders and, nimepata tender ya serikali, I'm sorted. And it's not a long-term plan as such. They forego entrepreneurship for tenderpreneurship. How can they best go about when dealing with tenders, government tenders, and now building their own entrepreneurial journey, building to the 2030 agenda to help the nation as a whole?
Okay.
Let me pick it up.
Okay, you can start.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
With the Big Four agenda, as we have been saying over and over again, it is an opportunity for the youth to engage themselves and make themselves better. With tenderpreneur, it's an opportunity for the youth to apply, if they are able, for every tender in those Big Four agendas. But the long-term goal is to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
So as soon as you get the tender, let that small opportunity not excite you until you forget the bigger vision.
You get comfortable.
Exactly, that you're working on to. So, and of course, one of the challenges, we encourage them to go ahead and apply for those tenders. And at the same time, we want to encourage the different institutions that are putting their efforts to encourage the youth to access those tenders, to equip them with the proper skills also. Because for example, one of the requirements of accessing those tenders sometimes is to have a properly written proposal on how you will be able to supply, for example, if you get the tender. And our youth, when we come out of school, we do not have those skills to write a proposal, and yet that is a fundamental requirement that when you are out here as a graduate, you should be able to do some of those little things that can push you ahead, that can give you an upper edge. So, so even as we encourage them to access these opportunities of tenderpreneurs, let them not forget the goal of being an entrepreneur, and the opportunities are there in the Big Four. Yeah.
And another thing, they should not use revenue. At times youth confuse revenue and profit. So they end up using everything. Yes. So they should have a good financial management skills. But the major challenge, coming to the major challenge that youth have, even me, I see as a challenge, is information, access to information.
Yeah.
And at times, I think platforms such as delivery.go.ke, which is a government portal, should also maybe, if they find it fit, so that it can also give information on available opportunities. And if the government can split the Big Four, so that we have separate a lot of information on one agenda on agriculture. And guys who are interested in agriculture can always click a button and be able to see the available opportunities within the Big Four are that. And same applying to food security, manufacturing, and universal healthcare. Okay, another thing that I thought about before I forget is youth might be engaged through different forums, through sports, through social media, through local barazas, through churches, and so on. So information on the Big Four and available opportunity should be there. And the 30% should be utilized as a key rider to youth access to government procurement opportunities. And issues to do with LPO financing comes in handy, so that agencies which have opportunities aligned to the Big Four can be willing to strike a partnership with LPO for financing, so that they work together, the agency, the LPO financer, and the youth. By that, it will make it easier for the youth to access credit and so on. Then, lastly, as I think about the last one,
I
Yes,
thought about mentorship programs,
Okay.
where sometimes the youth do not have someone to look, to inspire them or to look forward to.
Role models.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we find them groping in the dark for too long, so that by the time they realize this was an opportunity, it's gone. And opportunities come exactly once in a lifetime. So for those who have had the opportunity to utilize these chances, can they also come back and tell us their success stories?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and tell and guide the youth towards maneuvering this entrepreneurship journey, because we know it's not easy from those who have done, and so we need them to come and encourage them.
Yeah.
And this avoids the issue of the youth collaborating with the older people of the society, where they fund their projects, because we know the youth are not really do not really have much resources to give as collaterals when, for example, accessing funds. So so we need them to be mentored in that aspect.
All right. Now, because time is not on our side, we would like just to start wrapping things up. But I would not like us to wrap it up before we even dwell deeper concerning how youths can be able to access government procurement opportunities.
Thank you so much. Youth should access government procurement opportunities, because statistics out there say that out of the 30%, almost 90%, the fraction, you see, out of 30%, let me use the same 30%, almost 25% goes to women, because women are vibrant.
Yes.
They are going out for those opportunities. Only the 5% is left now for youth and persons with disabilities. And another key point is that youth have had characteristics of not being able to do business very well, because they lack capacity, financial capacity, and also capacity to quote. Some of them underquote. So once you underquote, then you realize that you are not able to do business. They disappear. They run in the bush. So chances for youth to participate are mainly available in the media platforms. And the government, I think, deliberately, and at times I see it unwise, they decided that all tenders, all advertisements are put in one newspaper. So you find this time it is in Standard, then you never know. The next time if it will be in the same Standard, or it will go to the People Daily, or it will go in the Daily Nations. So it confuses, and at times youth are not able to access that information. But ideally, we encourage youth to visit websites of government agencies mainly, because they are the ones who are implementing the 30%.
Yeah.
And you find that most companies have deliberately allocated specific opportunities to them. So they should not sit back and wait. They should go out there They should network with the right people.
Yeah.
They should check the right information. They should be able to watch documentaries like this so that they get information and be able to participate. Because the opportunities out there, they are not requested to issue things to do with a basic statutory requirement that maybe you need to show a bank statement, you need to show a bid security. Youth are exempted that, and some of them they don't know. That's why we need to share this information out there. And that all government institution, all government-owned institution has opportunity for the youth. So it is for them to go out there and access the opportunity. And if they are lacking finances, then they should still engage with the same institution so that the institution can support them to look for LPO financing. If they are lacking capacity, maybe on the issues of to do with the technicality, they don't have the technical experience to perform the assignment, they should now request to align themselves to another. In fact, you can co-source. You can co-source and supply a service or a commodity to a government agency as two different ends. I could be an expert in project management, but what I need to supply is something to do with electrical engineering. So I can partner with an electrical engineering guy for us to do that business. And this is the thing this is the conversation that we are having to encourage the youth to come out there.
All right. Now, as we just wind up, maybe you can give us your parting shot and rather your opinion as we close. We did see that the flow of information is really where the problem lies when it comes to youth and being in touch with the Big Four agenda and some of the projects and funding that lies there. Do you think we need to change the bottom approach when it comes to the flow of information and switch to the bottom-up approach so that you find that the youth who, finally managed to, with the entrepreneurial journeys, they had projects that, got funding and are doing well, they're sustainable, going back to the ground and actually speaking to the youth as compared to, so that you can tackle issues like brain drain when it comes to the youth especially?
Okay, let me answer that because I'm next to you.
But in a very short way.
In a short way, in a very short way. Okay, now, youth, I think the approach bottom-up, top-down should work almost in the same way, so that the information that is required to come from the top reaches the youth at the bottom. And also the challenges that are being faced by the youth down there should be able to reach the top. So it should go like that. But my parting shot is to encourage the youth to come out, to be able to seek for opportunities, because opportunities are out there. They should not sit back and wait for employment. They should be able to create employment, because essentially that's what we've done. And especially the project management.
There's so many opportunities in project management.
You now have an association that is together with you. Come out there. Assume responsibility, take charge of a project. Wherever you are, make sure you are in charge of the project. If there is an issue with the delays in project, make a lot of noise. Shout. Shout. Be part of it and ensure that you are part of the change that Kenya wants.
Shake the status quo.
Final word from you.
Yes. As you design that plan, as you keep dreaming of a better future, or as of your better future, look for the right people to partner with and walk in this journey. Now, do not have the dependency syndrome of walking with them up to the end. Learn as you grow and let yourself be weaned off and be in the world and think critically, analyze, get confidence, identify yourself, and be yourself.
All right.
Learn to be independent.
Yes.
And I think we've learned a lot, even as we start this year. And it's all about getting information, seeking information, finding out everything is there from the internet, on the website. Government agencies, we have them even on the government websites. Go get it. So Jen, I think we've learned quite a lot.
Quite a lot. And as they rightfully put it, look for the information. It is there, whether it's from up coming down or down going up. Let your problems be felt, be willing to get the information and learn, be independent. Let yourself learn how to fly when it comes to the entrepreneurial journey. Because there's a research that I was reading that youth unemployment can threaten the Kenyan economy as an East African powerhouse.
Wow.
So that just goes to show you how much potential the youth have. just considering Kenya as an economy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And today, even as we wind up, these things are there. You can be able to get them. You can be able to move on. Even as we go over through to 2019, you can be able to make it in life as a youth. Today, it has been all about mentorship. It has been all about youth and entrepreneurship. We were joined with my dynamic duo, my partner in crime here, by Maureen Chebor. She is a board member from PEAK, that is the Project Expert Association of Kenya, and Richard Nasongo, the Secretary General for the Project Expert Association of Kenya. As we move over to 2019, we would like to give you just a bit of information, Jen, because most people, even as we cross over to the year, it is the last day. Most people think that doing this show, Good Morning Kenya, has been easy. And we would like to say it has not been easy.
It has not.
There are things that happen behind the camera, before the lights go on, before we go live.
Yeah.
Things happen.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
And I think we should give our viewers something to look at behind the scenes.
All right, just before we get to the behind the scenes, of course, tomorrow is New Year's. Your New Year message towards the youth and the public as a whole. Yes.
Okay. My message, the New Year message is
just speak into the mic.
Is just wishes. Wish all Kenyans, especially the youth, a very prosperous New Year.
Yeah.
2019 looks quite vibrant. A lot of opportunities.
Yes.
So the youth this year, 2019, let's go grab the opportunities and fly away with them.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm wishing you God's blessings. And the youth, remember, we are talented and we have a lot of hope. And, you know, the Kenyan people have a lot of trust in us. So let's get ourselves on our toes, let's put ourselves on our toes and make sure that we deliver because we can do it. Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Go out there, conquer, and own it. You can and it is possible. So as Ram just said, we want to, you know, just let you know what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to putting together this fantastic show every morning from the time we wake up at 3 a.m., you know, up until we wind up. There's so much that goes towards putting this show together and making it a success. So we're going to leave you with a bit of that. You see what goes on. And up until tomorrow, do have an amazing night. Happy New Year's. We hope to see you tomorrow bright and early into the new year. My name is Jane Wambui Kibera. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Have a lovely day and God bless.
And my name is Ram Aguko. This year, as we cross over to 2019, I want to wish you a prosperous new year. My message to you, you can do it. Keep watching KBC. We have a lot in store for you this 2019. Do not go too far. Every morning, tune in to Good Morning Kenya with myself. My name is Ram Aguko and Jane Wambui, together with our colleagues. As a corporation, we would like to appreciate each and every person that ensured our show in 2018 has been a success. Without you, our dear viewers, we would not be here. We want to appreciate even KBC for ensuring that we give Kenya the best when it comes to news, information, and entertainment. This is KBC Channel 1. We leave you with Behind the Scenes. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. God bless.